Hello, APCSA students. We're going to talk about the difference between primitives and objects now a little bit more and how they're stored in memory and what they look like. So here we have a primitive, and when we visually represent that, we show the variable's name, and then we show a box with the value inside. Now, with objects, we have rock y equals new rock. So y is actually a pointer to somewhere in memory that stores all the information about the object. Remember, objects can be very complex and have multiple variables within them, so they need a bigger area in memory, but it gets kind of clunky to move that around. So instead, y just holds a memory address to where all the information about the particular object is stored. So y itself is not a rock, it's a pointer to a rock. And then the area where the rock is where the attributes of the rock are stored. So y is often referred to as a pointer or a reference address. It's got the memory address of the object inside. So if you create, remember we can separate these statements. So here I declare y as a rock pointer. But until I say new, it's not pointing to anything. It is null. And so if I try to use y to do something, it'll throw a null pointer exception, because how could I get the weight of the rock that y is pointing to if y is not pointing to a rock? So once I say y equals new rock, that's when y is pointing to a rock, and that's when I can go ahead and say y dot get weight. You can also have two variables that point to the same area in memory, or two pointers that point to the same rock. Sometimes this is done by accident and it causes us to have things we don't expect, and sometimes it's actually done on purpose and it's a good thing. So it's to be aware of that I can't really have two primitives point to the same area, but here I can simply say that x is a rock pointer, y is a rock pointer, and if y gets the value of x, then y is going to point to the same thing that x is pointing to. So if I go and I change y, I am also changing, or change the rock that y is pointing to, I'm also changing the rock that x is pointing to, because they're both pointing to each other, or pointing to the same rock based on that line. And so it's something to be aware of. If I go to print both rocks, I'm going to get the same results, and so that white was lost. So I want to show this in the code. So I've added the primitive variable up here. I think first I want to show, I didn't want to show that. I wanted to show the debugger. And so you can see that primitives look different in the debugger. You can see here n equals 3. And here you don't see x equals gray 2.9. If you click the triangle, you will see the attributes of the individual objects. And here you see it's almost like an object ID 130. Here's object 131, and you can see the attributes underneath of each object. Next, Z will be created, and I can click on that arrow and see the attributes of Z. So even the objects are shown differently here in the debug window. So one of the things we saw was that if I try to do something with x here, like print its weight, it turns out, I believe the compiler is going to flag this. So the compiler is kind of aware that you made an x pointer here and you didn't give it a value. You didn't initialize x yet. So just to prove the point, here, if I just say x equals null, I can put that null in there. Then I get this null pointer exception. Maybe a better example is if I take this off and I don't create the rock. So x is null, y is a rock, z is a rock. And so we'll run the debugger, and I'll show you I have a method underneath here. So here you can see x is null. Z has some values. I'm gonna print x, and we see null. So it was okay to print x. I print y, I print z, I break z in half. And here I have this method call I've added that we didn't have in class to break x, y, and z. And so it calls the method and it will break each rock. So down here is where the method is. I knew this method was in here because there's nothing before it. There's no object or class. So in this method, the first time I come in, R is null because R gets the value of x, and x was null. So here I ask the question, is that small box null? And so using our examples from here, I like this one better. It's asking if this small box is pointing to null in that code. And so when x gets passed to this method, this is going to be true. And so we're going to go ahead and say there's no rock to be broken. When I continue, now I'm going to call that same method, but this time I'm going to pass y. So I'm going to see this object get passed, and this gets passed to R. Step in. You can see R is pointing to object 130. If I go back to main, Y is pointing to object 130. So at this moment in time, R and Y are pointing to the same object. Now in this case, I'm just going to go through, and because R, which is the same as Y, is not null, it's going to go ahead and break it in two. And then if I do Z, we'll see the same. Now R is pointing to object 164. If I look in main at Z, you'll see that was object 164. So both of these are the same, and I can go through and I can break. Now, the thing to keep in mind is that I have actually, so I haven't finished main yet, but X, Y, and Z, X couldn't be broken, but Y and Z, Z has been broken in half. I guess Y is already 0. You can't break that in half. But Z, remember, Z was 6, and then this broke it in half to 3, and now this method is broken it in half to 1.5. So when you pass objects, you can actually change them in methods, which is something I can't do with primitives. If I pass the num, n was 3. If I pass n, then n would go into num, right? The same way x went into rock, n goes into num. And if in here I say num equals num plus 1,000, or 10,000, or whatever, if I compile this, so we're in the method here. So you can see num has the value 3, and so does n. I'm about to change num here. Step through. So num is changed, but if I go look in main, n has not changed. And when I finish this method and come back, n in main, this is now main's variables because I'm back in main. You can see main there. N has not changed. So primitives, when they get passed, don't get changed by methods. Objects, when they get passed, the method can change them, and this is a good and a bad thing. It's just a thing to be aware of. Notice that I was able to ask if the object was null before I went to do this. If I hadn't have done that, if I just said break the rock in two, then when I passed X here, and remember X was null and never got a pointer to a rock, we had it ready to point to a rock, it never did, then this throws that null pointer exception. So when you see null pointer exception, it means some object has not been instantiated with new. We either want to make sure that we instantiate our objects, or sometimes we want to make sure we ask. We want to ask if it's null or not null before we do something. So I could have just said if R not equal null, then break it in two. Otherwise, do nothing. So hopefully you're starting to get a little bit of an understanding of the difference between primitives and objects. I highly recommend playing around with the debugger and looking at that and getting used to all the pieces and doing the tracing yourself. So happy coding!